All right, welcome to Chamber Chat on PeoriaLife.com. I am Jeff Griffin, your president of the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce, and we have AIM back today. Phil Brandt, president and CEO, the big dog at AIM, is joining us today. Phil,
Great.
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me back, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Always happy to be here.
I know, I'm happy to have you. So you and I, we have these discussions about important topics, and 15 minutes is never enough time for us to get through them all. But for folks that aren't familiar with AIM, give us a quick 30-second on what AIM does for our community.
Well, AIM is an important part of the Peoria community, as it's a not-for-profit organization really that's designed to help businesses with anything related to their people, which brings us here today to talk about some upcoming events I think that are very timely for employers as we're moving into the end of the year, their strategic planning for next year, and you know, this competitive environment that we're seeing in recruiting and developing, retaining employees.
Right. And this is a topic Phil and I have talked about many times in the past, and the Chamber of Commerce partners with AIM in most general sense to make our community great and to support our small, especially our small business owners. So many of our members may have sophisticated HR departments. AIM and the Chamber, and we're talking about AIM today, have some programs dialed into the small business, some very important legal and HR topics they want to make sure our local businesses are aware of.
And that's a great point. We were founded 118 years ago by the large employers in town, Caterpillar, Keystone, to name a couple. And those two organizations are still very active with us today. But they founded us to help the other businesses in the community have resources available to them that were not otherwise available to them. And we hold true to that mission still today.
Yep.
And that helps medium to small size businesses. And it doesn't exclude us from working with the large companies, but we're really here in support of those medium to small businesses to have resources that otherwise they would never have access to.
Exactly right. Yeah. So specifically, we have some programs coming up. Just cut straight to the chase because we always run out of time, like I said. But Phil, what do we have coming up?
We have several events coming up, which are really timely as we come up on the end of the year. So the first event that we host with our partner Davis Campbell here in town is our labor law update. We do this every year. Every year it sells out at max capacity. And what makes this year really important is that there is a very important change in the Fair Labor Standards Act that is affecting almost all employers across the country. And very simply put is the laws around overtime have changed. Correct. And I know that the Chamber is aware of this, most employers are aware of it, but what are you doing about it? It's coming into effect in just a few months, and are you prepared? And it's ever being defined, and we have a very clear picture of that, and that's something we will focus on in this half-day session.
And this topic of the overtime rules, I know we've done a couple sessions that have just bursted at the seams, educating our employers about it. And you hear, oh, they can't enforce it. It's not a matter of that, folks. It is the law.
Right.
And employers must comply with the law. So whether or not the feds come and enforce it specific to your business, all it takes is one employee or disgruntled employee or negative situation, which we try to avoid, obviously, through good training and good hiring practices. But this takes effect, and people need to be compliant with it.
It takes effect. People have to be compliant with it in December of this year, and it's costly. So this is one that's not easy to follow. There's times the law changes and it's easy. This one is not easy. So any employer today who is paying any employee in the amount less than $47,000, I'm rounding it down to that number, those people are now going to be eligible for overtime. And we have to take a look at that. And that creates several issues. How are we going to pay them? How are we going to track it? How is that going to change? How are you going to manage your business? It's not something I think employers are welcoming. I don't think employers want to break the law. They want to know how to comply with it and what are my options, and that's what we're going to discuss.
Right. And this seems to be a recurring theme every time we talk. these rules, unfortunately, are made for the extremes or abuses, and we know. We all want good employees, and employees want to work for good employers, and 98% of the time that works effectively. I'm making up that number,
Sure.
but the vast majority of the time. But unfortunately, the feds have to come through with these rules. So we need to be compliant, and folks, this will give you a general overview, a specific details you need to address. And there's different formulas and different solutions, and then the employer can take your information and maybe go meet with their accountant and their attorney and drill down specifically to what they're going to need to do.
Well, exactly right. And there are different ways to approach it, and
Right.
those will be some of the discussion points, which that is why attending these events in the sequence that we have them, I think, are really going to help employers. So we have the labor law. So we're going to talk and look at that on that morning with Davis Campbell at the law and the changes that have occurred. And then following that in December, we will have our annual payroll tax update. That also sells out. In fact, it's expanded to 2 days because of the high demand for that. And we do that with our partner, Joe Romeo. And that event will then help us, how do we account and track and everything that happens in the payroll and tax and the financial side of the business for that. So putting those two things together are really important. I just worked with an employer, and we were talking about it this morning, and what they didn't realize is in their handbook they had that it was confidential. Your pay and compensation is confidential to you. Don't discuss it with other people. And that used to be okay to say. Today, you can't say that because of the labor laws surrounding, concerted activity and your right to discuss pay and benefits amongst your fellow employees. So people have these rules in their handbooks that then makes their handbook illegal too. So there's this stimulus effect that just stimulates right through these things that we want to be able to help employers be aware of all of those factors when they look at it.
Gotcha.
Then the third event that we have on November 2nd is our leadership conference, which is going to be the first time we've done this in Peoria since before the recession. So we're really happy to be bringing this back. We will have 2 wonderful headliners that we have identified that are going to speak. First is Captain Ron Johnson. And most people don't recognize his name, but they all will remember the events that took place just down south of here in St. Louis in the city of Ferguson. And Captain Ron Johnson was the highway patrolman who was put in command of that event. And he has an amazing story. So we all seen this happen through the eyes of CNN, but what we didn't get was a behind-the-look scene of what happened and what drove his decisions to do what. And what I can tell you is it changed my opinion of that whole event.
Wow.
And I went in with some very strong opinions, like I think most people had.
Sure.
And as I got to know Ron and why he did what he did, he has an amazing story of leadership he's going to share with us. It's going to be phenomenal. And then we also have a headliner that speaks to some of the largest audiences around the world around engagement and motivation. His name is Jack Lanham, personal friend of mine, does amazing work with the companies all around the world, and he's going to share with us his model he titles People First. It's an amazing, amazing process.
Wow.
And no one will leave that event unenergized.
See, that's what it's all. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, level set here in a minute, listeners and viewers. We're going live streaming this morning. The importance of this, I want to make sure we get the word out. Jeff Griffin here, Chamber Chat, PeoriaLife.com. My guest is Phil Brandt, President and CEO of AIM. Great partners with the Chamber of Commerce and communities across the region. So, Phil just ran through 3 sessions. Give us a recap of the dates and, more importantly, where do people go to get more information and to sign up? Because you said this sells out. We got to get people signed up today.
Exactly right, and it will sell out and will hit capacity. There's no question about that. Again, so the labor law update will be on December 21st. That's here in Peoria. It will be at the Paradise Casino. On November 2nd at Paradise Casino. We will also have the Leadership Conference featuring Captain Ron Johnson and Jack Lanham, and breakout sessions in between. You'll get breakfast, you get lunch, you'll get a full day of leadership on that day, followed by hospitality in the evening. Maybe we'll share a toast or two. And then we finish the year with the annual payroll tax update, and that will be held on December 7th and December 13th.
Okay.
And you attend one or the other of that, but because of its popularity, we have to hold it twice.
Gotcha.
So that's the popularity of these programs. We get repeat visitors every single year, and we welcome the business leaders and the leaders in our community here in Peoria to come and join us and give us a try if you haven't.
And the website, once again?
The website is AAIMEA.org, and all the information is available right there on the main page.
All right.
So AAIMEA.org.
Right. And of course, anybody has any questions about that, the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce will get you in touch with AIM and get you signed up. So the value of these seminars and the training, like you mentioned about employee handbooks and so forth, the pace at which things change, we need support. I know I'm a small business. The Chamber of Commerce, we have 1,100 members, but basically I'm a small business, so I need support as well in making sure we're compliant, so we're providing what we need to do for our employees, and there's some real reciprocity there.
Yeah, and it's funny, they affect me as well, right? So we have roughly 30 employees, so we're definitely a small organization that works really hard, and we were laughing earlier, sometimes when light bulb needs changed, it's me who changes it.
Right.
But these labor law changes affect me the same way they do anyone else. So I have the same feelings about them that many business owners have, and we look for solutions that are going to help us like they would help any other employer, and I think that's what makes it work.
That's exactly right. And we don't stop our advocacy efforts or things that can, we advocate in Springfield, to City Hall and DC about policies and pro-business strategies. We don't give up on that work, but at the same time, we have to comply with the law, and AIM is here to help support us in doing that.
And whatever that might be, we'll help them out.
You got it. All right, well, we're winding down here on Chamber Chat. The AIM website will get you all signed up for these seminars. Any last minute items of importance you want our viewers to be
No, the only
aware
thing
of?
I'll say is if you do sign up for more than one of the events, and there's a discount available for that. Again, we're trying to do everything we can to make it affordable and accessible to the community of leaders here in Peoria. So we hope to see many new faces this year.
You got it, Phil. Folks, Phil Brandt, President and CEO of AIM, great partners with the Chamber. Get to their website, check out the seminars, and get signed up. They're going to sell out quick. Phil, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Sir.